Florida State is set to face off against Southern Miss Golden Eagles tonight with an 8:30 kickoff and an electric atmosphere at Doak Campbell Stadium. As you all know, Florida State curb stomped LSU last week, winning 45-24 and queuing up all the hype moving forward this season. The student section is sold out for this game, which is usually a pretty good indication of overall attendance. For this one, I'd say it'll be somewhere around 85% capacity. I know I'll be attending with some of my family, and I think that's an impressive turnout for this kind of game, being it's not exactly a marquee matchup like last weekend was. I think it just indicates how bought in and excited Florida State fans are right now. There's more hype and expectations around this program than there has been probably in the last 10 years or so, if not longer. You can just kind of feel that the vibes are different in Tallahassee while the team is riding the way they are right now. Now, of course, some fans are still a little bit scorned after the last several years. I've talked with some people who are frankly just jaded, and they're saying that they're a bit concerned after these last several years, and believe me, I get it. After the 2021 season opener against Notre Dame, where even though we did lose, it was in overtime, and Notre Dame was like a top 5 team in the country at the time. So it still set us up for thinking that the team was much better than they actually were. So, following that game, I noticed tickets for Jacksonville State were pretty cheap, and I thought that'd be a cool environment to go to. It was my first game in Tallahassee, my first Florida State game in person. I thought for sure it'd be a win, and then I had to watch that nightmare unfold. It was a long, disappointing ride back, and I'm glad that Jarvis Brownlee is gone. So believe me, I understand the fear of getting your dreams crushed, and I'm not advocating that Florida State overlook this team, or really any team at all nowadays, but I do think this Florida State squad is different, and I think the way Mike is coaching them is different. This team is experienced and full of leaders. These guys have the right mindset. I think you can see that on display when you look at the way they came out in the second half of that LSU game last week after a rocky start, or even if you look back to last year when they had that 3-game skid, but overcoming that and running the table on their way to a 10-win season. So I do think these guys are better disciplined and better prepared to handle the success, and I think they understand they still can't sleepwalk through this one. I think even if they do a little bit, and even if they were to go out and play, a B minus, C plus kind of game, I think this team is talented enough that they can still go out and win by 20. So with all that being said, I'm not going to go crazy into some team breakdowns or anything. Obviously, I think Southern Miss is greatly outmatched here. So what I am looking for is to, of course, see the team come out and handle business and do it clean and do it fast. I want Jordan Travis on the sideline and a baseball cap by the middle of the third quarter at the latest. I do think Norvell and this team want to get Travis to New York for the Heisman ceremony. So I think they'll take some opportunities this season to kind of pad some of his stats. And I think they'll try to pour it on Southern Miss tonight. And honestly, I'm all for it. Obviously, we've seen him have some excellent games. And after last week, we know they could put up 4 or 5 touchdowns and a half easy. So I think they'll take some shots, and we'll still be able to get him out of the game at halftime or at least by midway to the third quarter. And he'll still be able to put up some big numbers for his Heisman campaign. Something else I'm really looking forward to seeing is some of these younger guys. I want to see them get some real game reps and know kind of what we have there. There's so many guys on this team that I feel really good about where they'll be in another year or two. So getting them some time this season will be huge for their development. There's almost too many guys to name, really. For starters, you have Brock Glenn. And we've already kind of discussed him before when we did some bold predictions that we could see him actually end up being the starter over Tate for 2024. And he's one I think we'll see a lot of in this game tonight. So it'll be interesting to see kind of in a live game sense how far he's actually come along since arriving in Tallahassee. I'm also very excited about this young receiving core, Hakeem Williams, Vandrevius Jacobs, also known as All Day Dre, and of course the infamous Destin Hill. I think all these guys will be major contributors in 2024 and 25. So starting to build relationships with them and a younger quarterback, whether it's Tate, Brock, or A.J. Duffy, will be huge for them, and I think it will give us a bit of a glimpse into what could be some electrifying duos for the Seminoles in the future. Conrad Hussey, the true freshman safety for Florida State, I think the dude is a stud. I think he could be huge for Florida State in the coming years. So I really want to see him on the field and see how he does, along with Lamont Green Jr., Omar Graham. There's just so many guys that I'm really excited to see. Some young offensive linemen, Julian Armella. Lots of young guys that I think will be actually big contributors in the future. So very excited to see how they look right now. It's also turned out to be a pretty good recruiting weekend for FSU. Lots of current commits set to show up, such as 5-star tight end Landon Thomas, who is actually bringing along his friend and teammate Nye Carr, who is a 4-star wide receiver currently committed to Georgia. But also Luke Cromenhawk, KJ Bolden, Cam Davis, and several more Florida State commits, and along with a whole bunch of 2025 guys as well. Last but not least, just getting to be able to see this team kind of handle success and handle it well, and to see them enjoy doing it. Some of these guys like Jordan Travis have been here since the Taggart era, and a lot of them have utilized their last year to come back, handle some unfinished business, and try to win it all. So to be able to see them navigate a season like this one could shape up to be, and a season none of them have ever experienced before, could be pretty special. And I think they deserve it. So super excited to see another good showing from this team, another win to start out 2-0, hopefully on the way to 12-0. While watching Jordan Travis shoot his shot at the Heisman Trophy, getting some of the younger guys some solid reps. You gotta love being a Noles fan right now. So tell me, which freshman or younger player, doesn't have to necessarily be a freshman, which younger players are you guys most excited to see? Let me know in the comments and let's talk Noles.